start the chapter. So sit straight, take a deep breath, and good morning. Some people from Pune give darshan. Narayan Bhagwan. Take a deep breath. Head, neck, backbone straight. That is where the energy flows maximum. Let us focus our entire attention on the breath. Why breath? Because breath is always in the present moment. So the mind comes in the present moment, giving up all the past unnecessary thought patterns which are called as vasanas, which we must practice to let go, keeping the learnings. Let us let go all the future anxieties, worries, and present tensions. Let us keep our body still, mind silent, intellect clear. And suppose we can bring some love, some devotion. That is the best instrument what God loves to address to. Let us chant loudly so that all unnecessary thoughts lingering here and there vanish. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanam Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om. Gajananam Bhutaganaadisevitam Kapithajambu Palasara Bhakshitam Umasutam Shokavinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwara Padapankajam Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir-bhavatu me sada. Akhanda-mandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai shri gurave namah. Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Thavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Yatkinchit Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। हरि ओम।
Hari Om. Thank you, Manisha. So we are doing chapter-wise summary of the Bhagavad Gita. And today we are going to start the chapter 4. There are two names, JnanaKarmaSannyasa or Jnana Yoga also some people in some organizations they call. So in the first chapter we saw Arjuna Vishada Yoga, which is Arjun's grief, sorrow, suffering. And that was the cause of that is identity crisis leading to confusion in duty. What should I do at this moment? There is confusion. And that happens because of self-ignorance. Who am I? I do not know. What is my nature? I do not know. Why am I born? I do not know. What is the purpose of this life? I do not know. So all these things cumulatively create this kind of confusion and then suffering happens. So Lord immediately in the second chapter, Sankhya Yoga gives self-knowledge. That is a summary of entire Bhagavad Gita, that who are you? What is your real nature? And gives various logics to tell Arjun that there is no validity for your sorrow. It is all psychological problem. Pain can be physical. Suffering is psychological. Because when we start asking, why me? Why am I unlucky? And then the challenges starts happening. So they say death is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Self-created. Guruji says that the only thing what human being creates is confusion. Other all things God has created very nicely. Then in the third chapter, after having the knowledge, I need to know how to act. Even though I know, I read the recipe, how to make sambar, rasam, bisibela bhat, masala dosa. I need to know how to make it. Unless and until I know how to make it, I will not be able to implement it, because I know the recipe, but when to put water, when to boil, when to put all the vegetables, there is a process. So just knowing the recipe, just knowing the self-knowledge is not going to work out. The very fact that we are becoming popular, there are people who will be joining. So we'll have to remove Manisha. I think you'll have to remove some people. So the first step of trouble or criticism comes when you are successful. When something is popular, there is trouble there. When there is no popularity, there is no trouble. So the third chapter was how to do action, what is the attitude, what is the purpose of action, we saw. And in the fourth chapter, tomorrow is Guru Parampara, Lord is going to start by saying that how this knowledge is coming to you and what is the significance of this knowledge, because he's not seeing the inspiration, motivation on Arjun's face to get up and fight. Arjun is still looking like that. Some people, after having so much of Gita, Upanishad knowledge, still when we talk to them, there is confusion. There is that face which is like so dull and with grief. What to do? So Arjun is having still doubt that all this theory of this Atma and this Karma Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, all this what you have told, is it valid? How did you come to know? Is there any proof? And now, very, very important pointer in this fourth chapter, Guruji says is one of the favorite chapters. Because in this fourth chapter, very interestingly, we are going to take many topics. Like in third chapter, we saw Karma Yoga was the main topic. Here we are going to see two very important topics of rebirth and avatar. And concept of God, we will just touch base, but if time permits, we are going to see this concept of God in detail. And once this is very clear, then Lord is going to say that a person can get liberated just by knowing my Janma and Karma. If we know Lord's Janma and if we know Lord's Karma, then we are liberated. Not his birth date. Okay, no, I know Gokulashtami. And when Ram took birth, no, not that birth, because that we are going to see one joke also later on. And this is very important now, because when we know people, after some time we come to know from somebody else that, how great the person is, that how the person is powerful, because just by knowing that person's face or just by interacting with that person for some time, for 20, 30 years, we might not know. So same thing with Arjun here, that he has been interacting with Lord Krishna. He has an inclination that this person is great, but who is Lord Krishna is not knowing. And that's the reason all these doubts are coming. So we start with the fourth chapter summary, which actually Lord is going to reveal that who is he and why he is taking avatar. And that's the reason we say that Bhagavad Gita is a text where Lord Krishna speaks to Arjun from 5 different relationships. And that's the reason those people who read Bhagavad Gita without listening, so first there should be Shravan, and then there should be Manan, and then there should be Nididhyasanam. So first I must listen to Bhagavad Gita from someone, and then I must read, and then I must contemplate, and then I must ask questions, and then I must meditate. Some people are interested in meditating immediately. So this meditation chapter comes 6th. And Bhagavad Gita is confusing because if it is read on its own, because Bhagwan sometimes says that I do everything, sometimes says I don't do everything. Sometimes he says you are my disciple, sometimes says you are my friend. So we are going to see what are the different paradigms, because Lord himself wants us to know that who is he and what is our relationship with him. So with that background, we will start fourth chapter summary. So as we mentioned, this chapter is called JnanaKarmaSannyasa Yoga. And the yoga of renunciation of action in knowledge. So because Lord took this action in the third, finally he is again coming to knowledge, because again Arjun should not get a feeling that I must only act and act and act. Ultimately, action must be coming from knowledge. And in this chapter, we will have a distinction between action and actionlessness. What Lord is mentioning. Lord is saying is that actually I don't do any actions, but I do everything. So once we understand the perspective of God very clearly, who is God, that is going to come in from 7th chapter in detail. 1st to 6th chapter is who am I? Then the purpose and relationship becomes very clear. And then whatever situation, challenges we have in life, those can be sorted out easily with this knowledge. So Lord, in the first verse itself, now Arjuna has not asked any question. Arjuna is going to doubt and challenge whatever Lord is going to say now in the 3rd or 4th verse. But Lord starts off by saying that whatever I told you till now in the 2nd and 3rd chapter, it is not my theory. And that's the reason our Hinduism is such great, because, here Lord himself tells that don't accept it, challenge, ask questions. And this is the only, I would say, Sanatana Dharma, where one can challenge, one can deny, one is open to ask anything. It is not a belief. It is an inquiry. So Lord is saying in the first verse itself that I gave this imperishable knowledge. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam. So this knowledge is imperishable. And I gave this knowledge first to whom, second to whom, third to whom, and how it is coming to you, that you first know. This is not my theory cooked up in somewhere in my thought process and giving you that, okay, this is self-knowledge, this is what is Karma Yoga, this is what is Sankhya Yoga, this is what is Bhakti Yoga, this is what is Sannyasa Yoga, because he has mentioned all those yogas in the 2nd chapter. So he's using one singular word, so that means that all these yogas are only one. Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Sannyasa Yoga, they are one only they are different stages and paths where the goal is same. So we must not say that no, this sannyasi is different, I am different. I am also a yogi. So this is a very important aspect to understand, that those people who are having a family, those people who are doing job and business, they must not say that I am not a sannyasi. We must say that all of us are yogis only. Because when we are learning knowledge, we become Jnana Yogi. When we actually do action with a clear purpose of what is my purpose of doing a job, business and family, then I become Karma Yogi. When I have an ideal to pour my love and devotion, I become a Bhakti Yogi. And then finally, Lord is going to say, or says, which he going to conclude in the 18th chapter, is that finally also learn the art of letting go what is unwanted, because whatever you have collected is unwanted. Why it is unwanted? Because you are already full. Om Purnamada Purnavidam. You don't have to collect or gather anything, and for that learn the art of letting go. That is Sannyasa Yoga. So first I gave this entire beautiful, supreme, highest secret knowledge to Vivaswan, that is Sun Lord. So he is telling that when the creation happened, it is not like a Big Bang theory. It came just suddenly, an accident, because if creation is an accident, then life is very simple for us. My promotion is an accident. Whatever good thing happens with me is accident. Whatever bad thing with me happens an accident. If I do something, if I get something, it is an accident. But accident cannot be the philosophy to understand, because I say, no, I put effort. There is a cause. Without a cause, there cannot be an effect. So wherever we buy an iPhone, wherever we buy any equipment, with that a manual comes. So Lord says, when this creation started, I gave a manual called as Vedas, and then I gave this knowledge to Manu. Like in Christianity, there is Adam and Eve, here is one, Manu, the first creator who has created this particular universe where the power was given, okay, you go and create. So Manu also is a king, Sun is a Karma Yogi, And then it was given to Ikshvaku king. So this is very interesting and important to understand. In our culture, knowledge was given to kings first, not to Brahmins and not to sadhus. And then all sages and seers. And why it was given to king? Now Lord is going to give one more reason for Arjun, that why those people who are into Grihasthashram, why those people who are having jobs and business, they must have this particular knowledge. It's a very important point to note in this 4th chapter. Lord is emphasizing that this knowledge was earlier given to sun god Manu, Ikshvaku Vansha, where Sri Ram comes, and then it was given to all sages and seers and thinkers and sadhus and swamis. Why? Because the protection of this dharma, protection of this knowledge is to be done by the administrator, not by the sadhu. Even though Swami Vishwamitra, Swami Vasishta Rishis were great and powerful, when the Rakshasas were attacking their yajna, they went to Dasharath Raja and told, we want now Sri Ram to come and kill those Rakshasas. Not that they were not capable, but that is the dharma. Because you are the administrator, and in your administration, nothing wrong should happen. So very important point is that this knowledge is not for only swamis and sadhus and monks and those who are like have given up everything and gone. It is for all of us, because only we can protect this particular shastra that is called as dharma. This knowledge must be given to all. So in our culture, suppose we see politics and spirituality went together. And whenever spirituality got divorced from politics or administration, the country or the culture went down, because Bharatiya culture was one of the richest in the world, one of the most prosperous, reached out to entire 7 continents, because spiritual knowledge was married to administration. Every king had a guru. And the king's job was to protect. So now Lord is saying, Arjun, that you don't have to only fight the war to win. I want you to win the war, because if you don't win the war, this knowledge will go down and then there will be glani. So in this chapter, there is that famous verse, Yada Yada hi dharmasya is going to come. So now I have given this knowledge to you completely. So Lord is already mentioned that Bhagavad Gita knowledge is all over in 2nd chapter. Because Arjun is asking questions, and we should be always grateful to Arjun all the time. Before we think of Lord Krishna's knowledge, we must think of Arjun, because he asked question, we got 18 chapters. Lord is saying is that I have given this knowledge completely. So this is the only field where the Guru gives complete knowledge to the Shishya. No other field the Guru will, the teacher or the mentor or the coach will give complete knowledge. So there was one, place where one teacher was there, one Guru was there, and he used to teach sword fighting to all his Shishyas. Very great sword fighter, and his job was to teach, train other people, impart the knowledge. And that is our culture, that after some years of learning and earning and enjoying, these are the 3 goals in student life and married life or job life or business life. I must always think that how I can now share this knowledge with others. How I can impart this knowledge to others. Because I have been benefited, and this knowledge must be protected. Because knowledge gets protected only when it is shared in its pristine purity and passed on as it is. So when this person taught many batches, one student came and then told that I am challenging you, that I want to fight with you because I have nobody to fight here. So the Guru knew that, the intention of the Shishya. So he told, okay, I want 3 days, after 3 days we will fight, because there was a kingdom and then they had to fight before the kingdom, and sword fighting that you can be killed. So after the 3rd day, when this competition was to be there in this Rajya, in this kingdom, everybody gathered, and then they saw, and the Shishya was constantly thinking for three days that why my Guru asked for 3 days more. And when he came there, he realized that they both took out the sword and realized his Guru has increased the length of the sword by 3 feet, because swords are made up of a specific length and both has to fight. Now the Shishya told, no, this is wrong. Like, I also want 3 days where I will also want to do something and come back. So again, 3 days were granted to Shishya. So after 3 days were completed, both of them came in that ring. And when the Shishya took out his sword, he had increased the length by 3 feet, and he saw his Guru also had increased by 3 feet. So his Guru's sword was 9 feet. And his sword was 6 feet. So the Shishya told, no, I want again 3 more days, because my Guru took 3 days, so I also want. So king told, okay, this is the last time I'm giving you any extension. After the 3rd one, I will not give extension. And on the 3rd, after the 3rd 3-day break, when the Shishya came and the Guru came in the ring, the Shishya's sword was 12 feet and the Guru brought his sword back to normal 3-4 feet, what he used to be fighting. And then when the fighting started, the Shishya was not used to fighting with a 12-15 feet heavy sword, and the Guru defeated in 1 minute. He didn't kill him. And then after the competition was over, the Shishya asked him that, why did you do all this kind of thing? He told, I knew your intention to kill me or to defeat me. So we always keep one secret with us which will not impart to the Shishya. Because tomorrow Shishya can challenge and kill you. But this knowledge is not like that. This knowledge, the Guru says, Tattvamasi, you are me, and that's it. There is no difference between you and me. That is the highest knowledge. So here Lord told that I have given this knowledge completely to you. Why? Because you are my devotee, because you have love for the Guru. This is very important in Guru Parampara. We are going to see qualities of Guru and qualities of Shishya also. So he is saying that you are very dear to me, number one. So Shishya must be dear to Guru. I love you because you are my devotee. You also love me so much. There should be love between two people. Then the knowledge is transferred. You are my friend also. You are my Sakha also. You are great also. And then you are my Shishya also. You are disciple, because whatever I say, at least you say, I will follow. And that's the reason this Bhagavad Gita is called as Song of the Lord, because song comes out of love. Swami Swatmananji says there are 2 things which are most difficult in life. We are going to see that in the meditation chapter, Dhyana Yoga, 6th chapter. 2 things which are most difficult in life are, number 1, sitting quietly and not doing anything. Undoing is the most difficult thing. And the second thing, what he says is that loving. How to love others is very difficult, because first of all, I must have a huge resource of love, because whatever I have only I can give. If I have all the 3 C's and 1 B, cribbing, complaining, criticizing, blaming, then that will come out, because whatever I have, I can give. But sitting quietly and not doing anything and not worrying about future and regret about past and quietening the mind is very, very difficult, because Lord is going to tell various methods of quietening the mind. And love. So here, when this dialogue is happening, we can see that both are looking at each other. So whenever we see this photograph of Lord Krishna and Arjun talking to each other, they are looking into each other's eyes and they have forgotten the time. So much of love, so much of respect. So Lord said that I gave you this knowledge because of all these things, not that I just gave you this knowledge out of blue and it is some created knowledge which I want to, spread across the world. This knowledge has a parampara. It has a tradition and so many people have used it, tried, tested, validated, verified. Who is saying Lord has to say it? It's such a humbleness of the Lord that he has to verify and give proofs. So in our case, Guru Parampara starts with God himself. Ved Vyasji, who collated all the Shastras. So today we are able to have some glimpse of all the Shastras because he collected, collated, wrote it. Because otherwise it was verbal. So his birthday is celebrated as tomorrow as Guru Purnima because he saw in Kali Yuga that sometimes we don't remember our own phone number. It's a joke. Because if you ask, what is your son's phone number? What is your daughter's phone number? What is your neighbor's phone? No, I will see first of all. I don't remember. Because Ved Vyasji saw that as the time is going to go, mobile phones will come, laptops will come, and they will have greater memory than human beings. Today, AI is coming. They will have huge memory. Human memory is going to go down because we are not using it. Whatever we don't use, it goes waste. So Adi Shankaracharya, who is the lawyer of Lord Krishna and the Bhashyakar who wrote himself so many texts, but because of his Bhashya on all this Bhagavad Gita, we are able to understand. Then Tapovan Maharaj, where Vairagya was searching and found in him, let us go and be with Tapovan Maharaj, because all these things are there in the space. Anger is there, love is there, Vairagya is there, knowledge is there. They are looking out for people where they can stay in their mind. Some people's mind is so restless. Then anger says, okay, this is the best place to stay in this person's mind, because a restless mind can get flustered very easily, disturbed. So anger comes and stays there. Then it's passed on to Pujya Gurudev, Guruji, and it is all coming to us. So he's saying is that this knowledge has validity, verification. And what is this knowledge? Imperishable, given at the time of creation. The result also is imperishable. It is the highest secret. It is ancient. But now very important point he mentioned, which is for all of us to understand, is that this knowledge is degrading, because there are a lot of attacks on this knowledge, because people cannot accept that somebody else's knowledge is greater than their knowledge, because there is so much of competition. So this knowledge has got diluted. Suppose we go on Wikipedia and see there are so many foreigners writing about our scriptures rather than names of all these great people there. You can today itself do that exercise, write Bhagavad Gita and see who all are commenting. Write Kathopanishad, who are all commenting. Manusmriti is the one of the texts which is the most controversial text, because people will pick up one sentence and say, this is what Manusmriti speaks. What other 1 lakh things what Manusmriti is talking, they will not say. So Lord himself is saying at Mahabharat time that this knowledge is getting degraded, it is getting polluted, it is not very clearly understood by people, and this knowledge is getting diluted, and with passage of time, this will get destroyed. So I have come here to revive this knowledge. When the knowledge is revived, the culture is revived. Because that verse is coming, so we are preparing for that verse. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bha. Whenever there is a glani, and not only in Bharata, anywhere. And what is that verse actually means, we will see. And Pujya Gurudev says that without culture, human is a vulture. But what is this culture made up of? He gave a very beautiful definition. We talk about culture, there is an American culture, there is a Bharatiya culture, there is this Chinese culture, now there is a Russian culture, country-wise cultures are there, religion-wise cultures are there. 4 pointers of culture is very important. Geographical area, any geographical area where a set of people are living for a long time, they follow a particular knowledge system and they live in a particular specific way of life where they follow art, language, tradition. That is a culture. But without a particular set of knowledge, the culture will become a vulture like that. Anybody does anything. Now I do whatever I feel. I feel like killing somebody. Oh, I feel like looting somebody. Because I want to be happy. What is going to happen in the next birth? There is no next birth. Here we are going to see 2 pillars of Hinduism. Avatarvada and Punarjanmavad. Rebirth. Today, if you see, this is the only living culture. So Lord is very, very protective about this culture, and Lord will never allow this culture, this knowledge, what he himself has given to go down, because he will again revive. And today, if we see Egyptian, Mesopotamian, Roman, Greek cultures are all gone. We don't remember that culture. Only one living culture which is existing on this planet for several thousands of years is Vedic Bharatiya Sanatana Hindu culture. This is a living culture because we are talking about it. We are spreading, and today if we see in the world, people are coming to this culture, coming to this knowledge from various countries and learn. It is a living culture. Today, still there is a large amount of Hindu population on this planet. So now after this introduction, as usual, why we love Arjun is because of the kind of question he asks and kind of challenges he poses to Lord Krishna. He says, Bhagwan, thank you very much for giving me this validity proof and this kind of system of Guru Parampara, where this knowledge you have given to first to Sun God, then to Manu, who is the creator of all human beings, then to Ikshvaku Raja, and then to all the sages. And then you created a manual when this creation started, and then Bhagwan, but I have fundamental doubt. And maybe we can imagine at this particular point of time that how Arjun would be looking at Lord Krishna with a different eyes. We must be, suppose our mind is quiet and observant, then we can see different emotions in different people's eyes. They say 50% communication is not required. Just by looking at another person, we can know whether the person is frustrated, irritated, angry, pleasant, happy, before the person opens the mouth only. So here, Arjun is thinking that, Bhagwan, I trust you. I am confident about whatever you are saying is truth, but how can I believe this? That you are standing before me here. How come you gave this knowledge to Sun God? Because I know your birth date. You were born in a jail. To Devaki Vasudev, you were born in a jail. You are standing before me, and Sun God is there from 4.5 billions of years, and you are just, I know your biography also, that you were born and how you went to this place, and then you went to that place, and then you went to Dwarka, and then from Dwarka you are coming to Hastinapur in this war as a Sarathi. How can I believe that you gave this knowledge? Sun's God's birth was much before you. You were born much later. See the kind of, purity and the sincerity and the straightforwardness of Arjun to ask this question in our literature. And that is another pillar of our Sanatana Hindu Dharma, is the importance given for inquiry and questioning. It is not a blind belief and faith. We don't follow faith. We follow inquiry. We follow conviction. And we have the right to ask. Anybody says, I don't believe in God, still that person is Hindu. Somebody says, I believe in God, still the person is Hindu. Somebody does puja, is a Hindu. Somebody doesn't do puja, is a Hindu. Somebody says, I don't go to the temple, still a Hindu. Somebody says, I go to temple, definitely a Hindu. This is not there in any other culture. You try. I don't follow any of the cultures of this religion. They say, we will remove you from our dharma. or kill you or convert you. How can I believe? How can I understand this contradiction? Bhagavan, please explain. Now from here, what Lord is going to say is something very, very, very interesting, because he maybe wants to now tell the other person that, look, whatever you are having knowledge about me, I am not your perception. The reality is different. This happens in our day-to-day life also. Like one person who is a top position in the organization and is there, his colleagues or her colleagues come home. The spouse says, oh, sir, don't go on all this domain knowledge in the office. If you want to know the real character of the person, you come and stay here at my place and you will see what this person is all about. And there's a lot of laughter there. But then the spouse says, no, don't go on how the person is great outside. You come and say, I will tell you the reality. I will tell you many other things, what this person's nature and character is, because that is more important. Or the otherwise also, people who are like Ghar ki murgi dal barabar, people who know each other so well, they don't see the greatness and the power of the other person. So here Arjun is not able to understand that one who is standing before him and giving all this knowledge, he knew that Krishna had fought a lot of wars and defeated a lot of people and has one Dwarka country formed specifically. But who are you? So now this is an indication here of who is Lord, and this is extremely important because today also maximum hits come on God. Who is God? So now before we go to that, we will take one session on concept of God or reality of God. Or there are various aspects of God, and this is, according to me, extremely important, because after this session, there will be no confusion on what God talks. And not only here, but suppose we pick up any book of religion, we will immediately understand on this paradigm, this particular dialogue is happening. Because what is important is the context and paradigm on which the dialogues are happening. So, Bhagavad Gita is a graduation text, and before Bhagavad Gita, we recommend to read Prakaran Grantha, where concepts are clear. Concept clarity is very important because any knowledge has two sections, concept and application. If concept is clear, application becomes clear. So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord has spoken to Arjun from 5 different standpoints, 5 different relationships. And once we understand, then the contradiction in Lord's various topics where he has taken vanishes, because we understand now Lord is talking from this paradigm. And for all these things, we require a GPS, which is called as a guru. Without that, it is very difficult. Today, Shankaracharya has written down Bhashya on Bhagavad Gita, so we understand that what is the exact meaning of this, which seems to be contradictory with another verse in Bhagavad Gita. So those people who don't study this text, which is a Brahma Vidya, science of spirituality, systematically, those people who do not listen to this from at least one person where one thought process is understood clearly, those people who actually read on their own and try to acquire, it is not very easy because we don't understand the standpoints, and then there will be confusion and we will not be able to apply when the situation comes. So what are these 5 standpoints on through which Lord Krishna has spoken? Now he is going to say that I am not only your teacher, because now Arjun has already accepted him as his guru, that I am your disciple. Please teach me. But now Lord is going to say that I am not only a teacher, I am not only son of Devaki and Vasudev, I am somebody else. So now we will see what are the 5 standpoints in various verses Lord has spoken. First, he has spoken as absolute Brahman. I am imperishable, I am unborn, I am beginningless, I am endless. In the second chapter, he has given that. And from that perspective, he has said to Arjun that you are me only. There is no difference between you and me. So that is the absolute standpoint of view. We will see later on God from different perspective, where there is crystal clarity about 33 crore God. And then what is the difference between Devatas, Ishwar, Brahman, Avatar, and why we are so inclined towards doing Murti Puja, or why these temples are important. So first standpoint, what he has spoken is Brahman, I am Brahman, I am that. For that Brahman, there is no action, there is no creation. For sun, there is no night, there is no darkness. Suppose we go to sun, we go on the sun, and suppose we ask the sun, S-U-N, do you know darkness? He says, what darkness? I do not know darkness. So from that particular point of view, there is no creation only. Creation has never happened. Second, he says, I am Ishvara. You worship me. What is Ishvara? Brahman plus Maya is equal to this Ishvara concept comes. The dream waker becomes the dreamer. I am in the waking state. Suppose I dream something. In the dream, some other power takes up. But who is the creator of the dream? The waker only. So from that perspective, he says, worship me. So this is very important. In this chapter also, last verse again is going to start and say, you worship me alone. Third, what is going to tell now, so before that we are just creating that introduction. Third, he says that I am an avatar. I am not a person. I am not a jiva like you. Now, this is not very easy to understand because this concept is not there in other religion. They say God can only send a messenger. God can send their son, his own son. But here we say that no, Lord himself takes an avatar. And what is avatar? We will see, because when avatar comes, he is subject to all things what a jiva actually undergoes. So there is a confusion between some people say, no, Sri Ram and Sri Krishna were they were jivas only, they were human beings only. Only thing is that they had more powers like us, more than us. No. That's not the reality. The reality is that avatar's body itself is different, their mind itself is different, and there is a purpose, and we will see what are the roles and goals and purpose of avatar. And there are different kinds of avatar: Nitya avatar, Amsha avatar, Leela avatar, Purna avatar, etc. And then he says that you are my instrument, so I am giving this knowledge to you. Because you are going to win this war, you are going to rule the kingdom for many years, and you are going to re-establish and spread this knowledge to many. So you are my instrument in that relationship. Then as a guru, he says, you are my disciple. So as from Guru's standpoint of also, Lord Krishna addresses him. From avatar point of view, he has already told that you are not doing anything, everything I am doing. See, you are only an instrument. The war is already won by me. I am just using this instrument because you are pure. And as son of Devaki and Vasudeva, which till now Arjun was relating with him, he says, you are my friend, mentor, coach. I am your mentor, coach, friend, philosopher, guide. That is only from the body-mind perspective. That is only as a son of Devaki and Vasudeva, and we have some relationships, blood relationships somewhere. That's the reason you are my friend. So this is very important because there are various verses which have come from Lord Krishna's mouth. But after today, we must ask this question while reading, contemplating on Bhagavad Gita. From what perspective Lord Krishna has spoken those verses. And once we know this 5 perspective, which we will take in the next session. So next session is very important because again and again we must go back and read that those things what we will discuss in the next class about God. Different aspects of God, from Brahman to Murti to a stone, what we worship. So avatar and rebirth are the 2 pillars of Hinduism. In this chapter, they are covered. So this chapter is very, very interesting. So Lord says that I have taken, so then Arjun is indirectly asking, Bhagavan, can you tell me the differences between you and me, Jiva and Jagdishwara? So Lord says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava Arjuna. So this session was going on in one class earlier, and the teacher was also a Sanskrit teacher where he was teaching Sanskrit also. Sanskrit is a very interesting, important, ancient language where there is no change has happened in the last thousands of years. So Sanskrit and Sanskruti must not change. If you see any language, there are so many modifications. Sanskrit is the only language where there are no modifications. What was there thousands years of back, still those grammar rules apply. So this verse teacher was telling through, some Sanskrit methodology, etc. And he saw then behind some students were talking. Normally the backbenchers are notorious kids who sit on the back bench. Sincere students sit on the first bench. So when he was teaching this verse, they were talking and talking among themselves. He went there with a stick. What are you discussing? Because here also, we are listening to this discourse, but we do not know behind the screen what all things people are doing. Whether they are talking to somebody, whether they are watching news, what is going on, rain, or they are making breakfast or eating breakfast with tea and farsan. That dialogue I have not mentioned for long. एक हाथ में चाय, एक हाथ में फरसान. बीच में सुन रहा हूं ब्रह्म ज्ञान. So what are you doing? We don't know. No. We are discussing about birth date of Arjun and Shri Krishna. And we have realized that Lord Krishna is only 20 days or 21 days elder to Arjun, and we were discussing what is the difference in their birth dates. But he told, how come you are getting birth dates from this? He told, no, Bahuni me vyatitani. Means Lord's birth date is 9th May and Tavach Arjuna means Arjun's birth date is 4 June. So that teacher was very, very strict, but still he started laughing and smiling because literally, suppose we start reading many of the verses and then start dissecting, there can be many, many meanings. That's the reason Lord is saying, and the teacher said, no, for that you require a teacher to explain what it means. This teacher is saying is that difference between Jiva and Jagdishwara. Lord is telling Arjun that I know all your birth. This is not your first birth. This is not my first birth. The only difference between you is that I know all my births and I know all other beings' birth, including ant. I am unborn, I am unperishable. This is my real nature. I am the Lord of beings. I am the Ishvara. I rule over my nature and you do not have any control over your nature. You are Alpadnya, Alpa Shaktiman, but I am Sarva Shaktiman, Sarvadnya. So now this difference between Jiva and Jagdishwara must be clearly understood. And Lord is going to say to him that suppose you understand the secret of my Janma and Karma, you are liberated. And then again Arjun is going to ask him, how can Bhagwan? Tell me few people who have liberated through this path. This seems to be an easy path if I know your Janma. So these children were discussing his Janma. What is the birth date of Lord Krishna? Suppose we know. and then suppose we read Leelas of Bhagwan Krishna, we will be liberated. No, no, no. Lord is saying that my real nature is unborn, imperishable. But I take avatar, and when I am not taking avatar also, I am the boss of this entire creation. I take birth by my own Maya avatar, and you take birth out of compulsion. I take birth out of choice. And there are many, many avatars. Huh? Not only the Krishna and Sri Ram, and then we have Dashavatar. Gurudev used to say that when a small crime happens, only a constable goes. When a big crime happens, inspector goes. When a bigger crime happens, then the chief commissioner comes. When still big crime happens, chief minister comes. Then something happens, then suppose there is an attack on the country, then prime minister gets involved. So these are all avatars. When small things happen, there can be an Ansha avatar can come and solve that. And we also take avatars. Sometimes we take Raudra avatar, sometimes we take pleasant avatar. So I take birth for a purpose to accomplish what? That we are going to discuss. So this verse we will take up next time with Lord's different aspects of the God. Yada yadai dharmasya glanir bhavati bharat. Whenever there is a decline in this knowledge, now we will discuss what it means, and avatar can come from within also. And what are the different kinds of avatars and what are the different aspects of God. And Lord is saying is that once you really understand this, that I am actually unborn, imperishable, but I am Ishwar also, I am avatar also. And I am there in that statue also, I am there in that stone also. Suppose we understand this clearly, then you are liberated. Know my Janma and Karma, and then you are liberated. Now here is very important, because till now, Arjuna had a specific relationship with Lord Krishna. From this, his relationship is going to change, but still there is a doubt in his mind, and he is going to ask the Lord to show this nature, and Lord is going to show him the Vishwarup. So very, very interesting chapter, because there are in rapid pace lot of topics are going to come about Avatarvada, rebirth, etc., etc. So with that we will complete. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you very much.